Yes, people, we're back. Welcome to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast. It's your boy Sheps and the one and only Big Mike.
Today's episode is straight up marketing magic. You know when someone gets what makes culture tick? That's our guest today.
We're talking about Boma, aka B Krijgsman, senior marketing manager at first. Boma's a cultural champion, a trend spotter, and the human definition of get it done with flair.
But today we're diving deeper into what it really means to make a design and creative industry more diverse, more inclusive, and more representative of the world we actually live in.
From breaking stereotypes to opening doors for new voices, B's on a mission to make sure culture isn't just celebrated, it's seen, heard, and felt.
So lock in, grab a brew,
Let's go.
maybe a biscuit, because this episode's about to dunk.
Let's go. B, welcome to the What Does Your Mum Think podcast. As you probably heard in the background, I was just running my mouth. We've been super excited to have this conversation. We've got a couple of sections we're going to go into, but we always like to take it back to the beginning, right? So you describe yourself as a cultural champion and a hustle bunny. Love it. For people that don't know yet, how have you got where you are?
This particular industry, yeah?
Yeah, like what's the journey?
Oh, wow. It's a bit of a funny one, to be honest. Actually, I went for a bit of day drinking in London with my partner and got the lot, and we live in Kent. So got the lot, and we got the last train from London, and Burger King, the lot on that last train. It's quite a chaotic train. There was this couple sitting in the train, and they were quite fun and chatty. And I decided just to chat with them. I guess they were on a similar level. And the guy that I was chatting to was a little bit more quiet, but his wife was very chatty and she was lots of fun. And I just kept chatting to her, and my partner was chatting to him, and we just got into the whole "what do you do for work" thing. And she starts saying, "Oh, my husband's in design. He's in design." And I don't know how we got into it, but we started talking about it. And then she just kept saying to him, "You need to hire this girl. You need to hire this girl." And mind you, 6 months later, he did hire me. And that was my boss at JDO at the time. That's how I got into this industry.
Wow, that's wild, isn't it? I always say one conversation can change your life. You know what I mean?
100%.
And bringing that in, you know?
100%. It was, to be honest with you, I didn't really understand what he did. Do you know what I mean? When I first started speaking to him, but he was like, "Yeah, no, we do packaging design and stuff like that." And I said to him, "Well, I'm into marketing." And at the time, they didn't have a role that was marketing related. So they kind of made a role for me at the time, which was brand ambassador. So I kind of came in trying to help them with talent, attracting younger talent, that kind of thing. So it was all very new for me. I had no idea what I was doing, but I'm a keen learner. I like to learn. I like to sort of get stuck in, and that's kind of what I did. Packaging design, honestly, no clue at the time. No clue. I was winging it. But I was doing it gracefully because no one could tell. But I was winging it. Every day I would go home and sort of just sit there and Google stuff and just try and work it out. And it's like, okay, competitors, who else do what they do? Let me get to know these people and get to know these agencies and stuff. So I put a lot of work in, a lot of grafting at nighttime, just trying to understand design, graphic design. What does that mean? How does that apply to packaging and stuff like that? Like, honestly, I've never looked at packaging the same since. Because I never, stood still. There's people behind what I'm actually picking off the shelf. I never thought about that, but yeah, I do now.
That's crazy. I feel like I've learned this from Christian as well. Like I feel like Christian's somebody who runs his mouth a lot, right? But no. Sorry, lad. Sorry. This is gonna. It's like a backhanded compliment. But from the act of running his mouth, like he always opens up these new conversations, like meeting new people outside, getting free guacamole when we get tacos, all that stuff. And I think it goes such a long way. And something you've got tattooed on your chest, actually, which I believe is your granddad's phrase, is "it's nice to be nice." And it's something that's stuck with me forever. Is you're out and about. It's just nice to be nice, and you don't know where a conversation is going to lead you. So, yeah, that's super inspiring, Boma, to hear that. And also diving into an industry that, like you said, you didn't know what was going on at the start, and just being like, "Yeah, let's do this."
None whatsoever. Every day I was learning so much, like a lot, and I would make mistakes, but which was fine because I would learn quickly from them. And I think I love a challenge, and I found it really exciting what I was doing. And I think that's what kept me going. I think in life, challenge is needed. If not, you get into your comfort zone and then nothing really grows. And I feel like I grew through that whole process of learning the industry, learning what it is that, and also kind of carving my role, because at the time, I was like, I don't even really know what I'm meant to be doing, but I just know that I'm meant to be doing well, and I'm meant to be getting this agency noticed. They want younger talent. They want the most creative minds out there. You know, also trying to learn what it meant talent wise, like in this industry. I had no idea. Like from a junior to a midway to a senior, you know, and also then you've got visualizers, you've got 3D guys, you've got production, you've got artwork. You know, so many skills within the word graphic design. I mean, I can't tell you how much I've actually learned, to the point where I'm like, ask me anything. Ask me.
Yeah, love it. So with, obviously you mentioned your first job to us. So take it right back to the beginning, before even landing that. What I know a little bit about you, B. We've chatted a couple of times, so I'm acting like I don't. But I know you're well travelled. You've worked across tourism as well. You know, I mean, fashion, obviously now design. Through these experiences, how has the cultures you've experienced within these experiences helped shape your career path as well, and you know where you are today?
A lot, actually, because I think starting off, let me go way back.
Please,
So
yeah. Nice.
I would say human knowledge came from being an air hostess. So I did that. That was my first proper job after doing the flugeling thing for a bit. I then became an air hostess. So that, you know, that required a lot of patience, a lot of dealing with holiday makers, you know, the ones that get really pissed on the flights to, you know, Greece and all that. So you're making sure that you're not responding in a way that you would love to respond, but you know, staying professional. You know, so that was I would say that definitely, in terms of the, you know, the culture there, that being that kind of patience in that industry, that was one thing. But then also, what a lot of people don't realize is that there is a lot of bitchiness in that industry when it comes to sort of like flight attendants and amongst themselves. Also what it means, like some of them get favored by the captains and the co-pilots over others and stuff. So that kind of there also kind of made me like, okay, I've got a graph for my position here. You know what I mean? So I get like respected. So that was one thing that I found really tough. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't do it for long. I also realized that I've got sinus issues, and takeoff and landing constantly doesn't work. So I've got sinus issues. I was like, that's done. Then modeling industry. So I worked in the modeling industry for quite some time. That shaped me a lot, because being a brown girl in an industry back in the day was not an easy gig at all, because you wouldn't get the jobs. You just wouldn't. They were looking constantly for a similar look. And if you did get the job, it was always a similar kind of job, a job that was suited for my color, always being dressed in the same color as well. It was gold. It was always gold. Oh, gold looks good on you. I'm like, oh, tell me something different. Like it was always the same thing. So that shaped me. That shaped me to be resilient, shaped me to be hard, shaped me to like, right, there's going to be lots of no's here. Just take it. Don't take it personally, but because it's not you, it's them. They just don't know. Right. That's how I took it. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to live through this experience. It was horrible at times. It wasn't nice. You know, the modeling industry back in the day isn't what it's like today. I feel like it has shifted. Today is a bit different. So I would say the culture was toxic in that industry. Didn't quite enjoy it, but that being in that industry is what pushed me to kind of want to do something different. So I'm a very curious person. I like to know stuff. So while I was doing modeling gigs, I would always look at the people that were organizing the shoots, the people that were doing all the stuff. So like the back of house people. And I was like, okay, so what's that one's role? What's that one doing? Oh, that one's running around a lot. Okay, so that one's doing this. And I started to get a little bit curious and knowing what that's about. And then I landed another job for G-Star, the jeans brand. And
mad thing. Jesus Christ. I used to rock G-Star back in the day.
G-Star back in the day, and it was at one of their head offices in Barcelona, because that's where I was doing the modeling at the time. And got a role at G-Star, which was sick. It was really good. And I started off as their fit model. So I was just trying on their jeans for their customers that would come and buy. So they were doing a lot of wholesale and stuff. that was it really. And then from there, I realized marketing, because I could see that they had a marketing team at the G Star office. And I started to kind of like just move around a lot with a lot of the people within the team, just kind of learning from them. Then I started getting a lot involved, a bit more admin. Then I met someone who said, "Hey, I've got this project. Do you want to become a project manager and help me manage it all?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So it's kind of, I was just moving from one thing to another. Well, I would say this is where the creative industry started to like come within, and that culture I liked more. It was more, how would I say? It felt more inclusive than all of the other things I had done, like the air hostess and the modeling and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you know what I can imagine? Like my cousin, she's an air hostess with Emirates right now, and like the look and the aesthetic and the way that your hair needs to be sat, like everything is like to a T. And if you don't fit that, then it doesn't work. So I can imagine that in that industry, not being great, as well as the fashion industry. Now we're in the creative industry. I'm really interested to get your thoughts, Boma, on, do you feel that, or do you see that in the creative industry at all?
Yeah, when you first walked into JDO's studio, what was it like? What did you see? What would you feel?
I already knew what it was going to be, because their head office is in, I would say, a predominantly white area. So I already I was expecting that. But mind you, my entire life, I've been faced with predominantly white establishments. The whole G Star office was white. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like everything I did, most of the people there were white. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, I kind of got used to it. Do you know what I mean? So the creative industries, I think when I started at JDO, and my main thing was to attract talent, right? So I started to go to universities and stuff and trying to have a look at, you know, what the talent there. And this is where it all kind of came to light. I was like, there's not one black person in this year. And I thought, wow, why? And then I started, and I thought, you know, and then I asked myself why, but then at the same time, I'm like, you know why? They don't think this is a job. So my mum, yeah, she's Nigerian, right? And in Nigeria, if you're not a doctor, a police officer, a dentist, a lawyer, it's not considered an actual job. So that's why my mum doesn't really understand what I do, but she's come to terms with it now. She's like, my daughter's none of those things, but she's fun though. Do you know what I mean? So she gets that, but she doesn't really know what it is exactly, right? So I think from a lot of black cultures, it's a similar kind of thinking, right? It's like, if it's not that, then it's not a job. So, you know, young people automatically think, well, I need to get a real job, not knowing that there are real jobs in the creative industries, right? Because that's not what they're raised with. So if we had to change anything, you have to start relatively young and I'm talking young, I'm talking primary school, right? Because that's where a lot of shaping happens, right? Once you've got into secondary school, you continue on. But once they've gone to uni already, it's already too late, really, because then the perceptions have already been formed. They've chosen a uni already. Like a friend of mine, all her daughters are looking at going into engineering and being doctors. They're all black girls because they think that that's what they have to do. Do you see what I mean? So when I started at JDO, I wasn't expecting anyone to kind of be there, because didn't think it was something that any black person would consider doing, because I guess they were not exposed to it. I wasn't really exposed to it either. I just kind of fell into it because I put myself out there, right? I put myself in situations, uncomfortable situations sometimes, but I'm always keen to be put in a situation, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Boma, because I feel like, me and Christian have had very similar paths. Like we did like fucking removal. We worked on removal vans before we started doing graphic design.
Jesus Christ.
Christian was doing jobs in a bar, and I mean, in our households, like our parents also was like, my dad just doesn't get graphic design. And to be honest, that's like a really common thread and really common question on here. Like, what does your mum think? Yeah. Your mum often has no idea what we're doing. I think, obviously, depending on your family and background, where you come from, but my dad just thinks that if you're not, like, hard work is picking shit up or driving a van.
Sweating and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
It is. But, you know, starting in the creative industries and noticing that there was this lack of, it did get me thinking, like, why is it? Because I know that there's so many creative minded, you know, black people out there, black, brown,
For sure.
Asians, you know what I mean? It's just like, why are they not? Why? What besides their parents? Obviously, what other reasons? What other blockages are there? So I started looking into that.
So what was your findings from that?
I think I was finding it was access to it. So it's a very privileged industry. Let's be honest, right? It is. It's a privileged industry, right? And it's because the events that are put on, you wouldn't easily know where they are and when they are, how to get into them. So you know what I mean. So it's there is no way. I just don't see any way of any sort of person in a minority ethnic group finding these opportunities unless someone is in it. Because it's not, there is one really good organization called the Good Nugget, right? And I've always supported them. He's doing it. Leo Young, he's doing it. He's making sure that these people are getting the exposure that they need, networking, getting, connecting industry with, everyday young creatives, making sure that they can have their moment or their conversations and stuff like that. Because also, let's be honest, I don't know if it's just this generation, but it's almost like people are scared to put themselves out there, or to fail, or to make mistakes, or to kind of like be a little bit more ballsy with, I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm just going to like cold email people on LinkedIn, or I'm just going to try and see where I can get if I went to X, Y, and Z. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But then again, we talk about our industry. Let's talk about the advertising industry. That's got some diversity in it. Why is that? Why is that? I just looked at it and I was like, I went to Adweek and I was actually standing there thinking, there's Black people here? Oh my God, like quite a few of them as well. Right? But if I go to any other events that are more like sort of like the brand design crew, none whatsoever.
Yes, broski, what's good?
Lad, I'm just doing my big shop in China. Check out how crazy all this packaging is.
Yo, mad sing. I'm just doing a big shot too. Check out all this sick packaging.
Do you know what? There should be a design ceremony or something like that for all this sick packaging.
What, lad? Have you never heard of the Dieline Packaging Awards?
Ah?
Oh, lad, entries are now open for 2026. Don't sleep on it. Get the recognition you deserve for all you and your team's hard work.
Oh yeah, man, nice. Is it expensive to enter?
They switched up the pricing this year, so more people can enter. Solo designers, agencies, and students, prices vary.
Can you hit me up with a link?
Yeah, bro. Check out dielineawards.com/race-deadlines.
Yeah, man. Sick. Peace.
Race inequality is the most uncomfortable conversation that no one wants to get involved in, right? We can talk about gender inequality, we can talk about, disability inequality, things like that, right? Because that's something that it's okay. But the minute race comes in, everyone shies away from that conversation. Not necessarily in America. In America, they go straight in, they talk about it, right? Yeah, in the UK, there is no way. There is no way UK people are going to get involved in a conversation that involves race because they just don't know what to say. They think they're going to get it wrong. But I think you need to get it wrong so that you can learn how to get it right. Right. So I always say that to everyone. It's like, don't be scared to make a mistake when you're talking about the whole race thing, because it's the only way you're going to learn. Be uncomfortable in these conversations, because that's, again, the only way you're going to learn. Don't shy away from it, because you're just going to go back into your bubble where you don't know what the truth is. Right. I'm raised by a Black woman who I've watched her entire life struggle being looked at as lesser, right? So me then being half white and half Black, I have my own struggles, right? I don't really, for years I was like, am I white? Am I Black? No, I'm neither. I actually sit in between, right? And that kind of representation also took many, many years to actually finally be there. Like now you have a lot more, mixed race, people out there that I can, resonate with, or feel like I belong somewhere, right? Because let's be honest, as humans, you want to feel you want to have a sense of belonging, you want to belong somewhere. It's normal. It's like, it's human nature. But I think it's we're still on a journey, massive journey, a big journey, right? I think everybody says, oh no, we definitely are fighting for diversity and this and that. I'm thinking, are you now? Are you really? Like, in what way? You've hired a few females. Great. How many of those are Black and are in leadership? Tell me.
This is really interesting. Yeah, go on, Michael, please.
So on that, Boma, what are the ways? What are the things that people can be doing better?
Okay, so I think first of all, I think the main thing is educate yourself. I think that's the main thing is educate yourself. Have these conversations. Ask find what are your biases. We all have biases, right? We all do. I do as well. I have biases, right? In every way, shape, or form. I think have these conversations. That for me is the very first thing you can do, because then when having these conversations, that's when things come to light, and then you can sort of address and take the next step. I think that's what the main thing here is. Education. Educate yourself. Get in the know. What are the struggles? Are there any people within your organization that are from a certain background? Have you ever had a conversation with them? Have you ever asked them how they felt? Have you ever asked them, like, hey, you're like the only black guy in a sea of 20 white people. How do you feel, mate? Are you okay with that? You know what I mean? Don't be scared to ask that question, because if anything, you're probably going to get a funny ass answer. Do you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I'm all right sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, these conversations, I think that's the main thing for me, rather than, people trying to do like box ticking, right? Okay, like, okay, how many females have we got? Right, should we do a little higher that, kind of gives us that, no, don't do that, because you can hire black people, but can you keep them though? Can you retain them? Do you know what I mean? That's the next issue, because I've seen a lot of black people go into, and I'm speaking about black people particularly because I feel like this is the main, that's the most problematic area, right? How many have you hired and how many have stayed long term? Do you know what I mean? It's very rare that they would stay long term if they feel comfortable, or they're happy, or they're just kind of used to being in white areas. So they're like, yeah, I'm fine. You know what I mean? So I always bring up these conversations. I have them. I ask them. If I see a fellow black girl in the company, I actually ask her, you okay? Are you good? How do you feel? Is there anything I can do? Like, is there anything that you need? And that's not saying that's not being patronizing at all, in my opinion. That's just making sure that they're good. Because imagine you walked into a situation where you're like the only one of you. That can be quite intimidating, especially to start off with, but if you acknowledge that and you just go and you're like, I'm here for you, then, cool.
But like you said, Boma, like I think people do feel intimidated and scared to have these conversations. Like you were just saying then, Boma, like if there, say you're in a studio, there's 20 people and a black guy or girl's just started, and would you feel comfortable to be like to go up and say, like, are you cool, like in this setting, like is there anything we can do for you? And it's like, well, maybe somebody would feel like, should I single that person out, or am I singling that person out by asking that, or
thinking it? Yeah.
Absolutely, and I can totally get that. That's why I think, and again, maybe that's just me being incredibly Dutch, but in Holland we're quite straightforward. We're quite straight to the point.
Yeah.
Say it as it is, so that you know where you stand, right, in the situation. And I found that from all of my years in the UK, that sometimes not talking or assuming that you're singling that person out, or assuming whatever it is that you're assuming, is actually more damaging than you think, because someone just doesn't know. So you're just kind of sitting there not in the know. Like, you just kind of just cracking on with it, it's just awkward.
But you mentioned before about gatekeepers and stuff like so. What role do you think these creative directors, recruiters, even clients, you know what I mean, can play in making real change?
I mean, let's have a look. I think usually change comes from above, right? So it's top down.
Top down.
Right? Definitely top down. And I feel like it's the leaders that need to start with educating themselves and asking themselves some really tough questions. Like, what are we doing actually to make our companies or brands more accessible to, certain ethnicities, or, people of certain disabilities? Like, what are we doing? Are we actively doing anything? Are we getting involved with organizations like the Good Nugget, for example? There's a few organizations out there that are really actively trying to make, to create a space for young creatives that might not get the opportunity to have the opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Like, are you brands out there using your design teams to allow internships to happen? Maybe, some paid internships, but internships maybe for people that might not really know what they're doing coming in. Do you have the system in place to kind of handhold these people? Because a lot of people or companies just want people to come in, plug and play, and let's go. Like, you're not going to get that with people that are still learning, right? So I think, first of all, it's education. Second of all, is looking at what systems have you got in place that will allow for you to actually help and open those doors a little bit more. because I think that there's just no interest. Let's just be very honest. There is no interest. There is no interest because you don't think it makes any sense. But diversity makes real sense. It's business sense. You know what I mean? It makes complete sense. It's just that it's not that important, and that's the shame, right? It's such a shame. I mean, one thing I always say to any organization is like, don't use someone like me, the token girl, to come in and create and to solve your problem. It's not my fault that you lack diversity. It's not my fault. So it's not up to me to have to solve that problem for you. You have to want to solve it yourself, right? So you have to also have that, how do you say, awareness of shit. Guys, we've got a problem. Not when, for example, an agency, right? Not when a client says, "So we're working with so we're Latin American. We want Latin American designers." Fuck, find Latin American freelancers. No, that's not right. Do you know what I mean? Or there's a big brand wanting to work on a melanated skin. So they want melanated people to do the job, right? Oh, quick. Let's hire. You know, scrambling, getting it together just so that you can please that brand. But normally there's no manic energy to get any kind of diversity sorted, right? Because you don't care. And that's the truth. They don't care. It's not a problem for them. The money is coming in. The jobs are getting done. Don't really need it. It's not a big deal. Do you know what I mean? And that's the harsh truth. And that's what pains me. And you know what? As a black woman, I see myself as a black woman. That's how I identify myself. I'm tired. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm exhausted, mate, because I'm the token, right? I do. I push. I go. I help. But I can't do it on my own, and that exhausts me, right? So my cry for people is to please just get involved. What you need to want it. You need to want it. You need to see why it makes sense, right? If everybody only ate the same thing every day over and over again, there wouldn't be any flavors or anything like that. You need these different kinds of flavors. Like, for example, your soup, you're cooking a soup, yeah? You need ingredients, don't you? You need different kinds of ingredients to make that soup taste phenomenal, right? That's the same with an agency. You need different kinds of people to make that agency work well, because you're going to get different perspectives. You're going to get different points of view, right? Let's say you're designing for a brand that is part of a certain culture that you're not familiar with. How the hell do you want to do that? Well, because your strategy team did some research. And
it's fucked, in it. And I know.
It's like, guys, we need to do better here. We need to do better. Look, smaller companies, I get it. You're still starting. You can't really do all of these kind of hires. But the big ones out there, what are you doing? You've got money.
Yeah.
You've got budgets. You can do better. You can do better. You just don't care to do better because it doesn't hurt you directly, the situation, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm still there. I'm always helping. I offer my time to young people that need help or that need me to have a look at their portfolios, their CVs. I help people. I help young creators that might not have the money to go to university. I say to them, here's my email, here's my LinkedIn, send me a message and I'll see how I can help you. I chat to people all the time. I give them all the advice I possibly can, just to help them get on their way. But I'm just one person. Like, come on, you know what I mean? I don't have the budget to take all these people under my wing. If I did, I would. I really, really would. So that's my cry in the industry. Please just wake up, man, and do something. There are so many people out there with so many creative people out there that are different than what you're used to. Get them involved. They can actually make your space shine,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Go on, Michael.
Yeah, something that is interesting as well with the creative industry is that, so when you're applying for a job, you're sending through your portfolio, so people are often looking at the work first before the person or the name. Do you think that in this industry people are hiring people just based on the work that they're seeing?
Most of the time, yeah.
Because if you're a business and you want to be a successful business, you're just going to want to see the best portfolio or what you consider to be the best portfolio, because that person's going to come in and can continue to do that great work for you. Now, you shouldn't need to look at, I guess, the person or the name. Like, if the work's just fire, like, you're just going to pick that person, right? So do you think that at all plays in this conversation and how you select somebody to work with your company?
It does. Okay. Obviously, it depends on what a company is looking for, right? In terms of what are they hiring for? What gap are they missing within their workforce that they're trying to fill, right? That's when people go out and start looking for someone to come and fill that gap, right? Like, let's say, oh my God, we need an illustrator, right? They're going to start looking at portfolios that have good illustration. Do you know what I mean? But then those usually, I would say, from all of my years of looking at portfolios and CVs, sometimes someone just doesn't know how to put it together in a way that would actually stand out in that sea of hundreds of portfolios that people look at. So someone really amazing could be missing out just because they just didn't get the exposure that they needed to help them to kind of curate a portfolio in a certain way. I can be very honest with you that most of the portfolios that we did see or that I have seen were hired based off the work that we saw in those portfolios. And also, I can also tell you that a lot of them had the personality of maybe, God, I'm not going to say anything else. Do you know what I mean? And then you can have great work, but you've had the opportunity to be able to curate and put that portfolio together. Lovely, nice, amazing. But personality also comes to play. A good attitude also comes to play, right? I feel like there's a lot there. So the way I see it is that I like more face-to-face people. That whole sending off your CV thing. I think, it's one thing, but I now actually advise people to record a video.
Yeah.
Talk in that video, and then send your CV with it, right? So people can see you, because sometimes 9 out of 10 times you're not going to get seen, maybe because that work just didn't do something for you, but maybe personality works. Every single job I've had, in my life, has come through personality, mate. It's not through, I didn't have a CV or anything that I could show to people. Currently, yes, I put a CV together, but what's shining through is not the work, mate. It's the personality on my CV, which I also hate calling it. I don't call it a CV. I call it my story, basically. And it's just it's a PDF or a presentation with loads of pictures, personality. It's got pink. It's got all sorts in it. It's got Boma on it, and it's the Boma story. So I just feel like people need to get a little bit more creative in showing who they are and what they can bring to the table besides doing great work. What else do you bring to the table? Do you know what I mean? I feel like, unfortunately, because there is so much competition out there, if you really want to stand out, you've got to do the work. You've got to stand out. And I think soft skills, personality, attitude, graphs, mate. These people nowadays, I don't know why is everyone so lazy. I'm sorry, I said it.
I do
Listen,
agree.
Boma, on the CV thing, excuse my language, but fuck a CV. I'm so behind this, right? Because I think as soon as I send over my work to somebody, I'm always like, can we jump on a call? Because I just want to talk to you. Like, let's get face to face. Let's talk, and it will open up. Yeah, it'll flow much better.
Absolutely.
Back to the work ethic as well. I seen this guy wrote something a while back about immigrant mentality, and he said that if you'd moved city to pursue your career, you're probably very hardworking, but if you'd moved country to pursue your career, you're probably extraordinary. And I do think there is a little bit of truth in that, because I think those people that are so focused on changing their situation or life are going to make those sort of moves. And I do find that, if you've been given it, you're going to be a lazy person.
I'm totally with you. I think there is an element in. I also think it's the changing your environment can be quite daunting, and not everyone can do it. Right? Let's just be honest. And some people just like the comfort zone, and that's fine too. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in the comfort zone. I'm just saying most people, if you want to grow and you want to do more, then you've got to keep switching it up. That's the only way you're going to challenge yourself, be uncomfortable, grow, and do more. Right? So I'm totally with you on that. I mean, I've moved country, God, how many times? And I've taken one thing as much as I could from each country. I mean, I've taken quite a few languages with me, which is great, but I've also taken, knowledge, culture, but also, some hardship, some proper hardship. It's not always gone well. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what's helped me to kind of learn, keep going. But then again, not everyone can do that, right? And which I also totally respect that. But I do think, like, if you're looking for someone that's going to work hard, do well, show a great attitude, show up every day, then you've got to look at personality over what's in that portfolio or that CV or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And like you just said, right? I can send you over my work, but then you're going to follow up, right? Like, hey, I just really want to talk to you. Or can I just have this much chance? If someone did that to me and someone showed me that kind of tenacity, right? Like, hey, can I just have you had a look? I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Let's go. Talk to me. What do you want to say? Do you know what I mean? So again, people send off CVs, they go quiet. They're like, okay, they didn't respond. Right, next one. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like a bit of tenacity, a bit of like hard graft, a bit of, if you really want this thing, go and get this thing, right? It's not going to come to you. Everything I have today did not come to me. I had to go and get it. I had to go and get it, and I had to work hard. Fell on my nose a few times, but hey, we got up and we cracked on. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel people nowadays just expect things to just come their way. My son, right? He's 13, bless him. But my goodness, he expects things to just happen. He just wants to be everything, the best in everything, but do nothing for it. I'm like, mate, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. You're gonna have to do the work. But I think, unfortunately, they're faced with TikTok and Instagram, or just let's say just the digital world. They're faced with all of this stuff, and they just see all these people already, doing. So they're like, oh, I can do that nice and easy. They just want that easiness. It's like, no. That guy playing a game while you're watching him playing that game, I'm sure he's done a lot of hours for him to get that following, for you to want to watch him play that game. This didn't happen overnight, right? It's just, I don't know. I think people have just got it a little bit like, oh, it's not working. Ugh. Why is it not working? Well, how hard have you worked? Like, what have you actually done to make it work? Do you know what I mean? So I tell a lot of young people to just work a little harder. That's it. Do you know how many sort of minor, minority ethnic people are in a situation, they've passion, they've got it all. They just don't know where to go or how to get there or what are the opportunities available. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just wish we could just open those doors a little bit more, because I vote soft skills and attitude over everything. You can learn other skills like graphic design skills. You can learn that, right? Okay, not everyone has an eye. I think there are, some people do have a bit of an eye and a sort of natural knack for things. So obviously you've got to kind of look out for that as well. But I think attitude, man, having a great attitude is so important. When I was at JDO, we hired, a few people, and, one of the girls in my team, her attitude, honestly, the hardest of days, doing a million things, spinning a million plates, the girl smiled through the whole thing. You know what I mean? Smiled through the whole thing. And she's straight out of uni, young girl, first job, really, really made the effort. You know what I mean? And I respect that, right? Learning as you go along. I learned as I went along, right? I'm still learning as I go. Do you know what I mean? And I'm humble enough to say, like, hey, I don't know everything. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So I'm still learning. Do you know what I mean? But it's just that attitude, just having a good attitude towards things and being humble and admitting when you've got something wrong and being open to constructive criticism and stuff like that. And just keep the ego at the front door, please. I hate ego. There is a lot of ego in this industry. A lot of people that, because they've been in it for 20 odd years, they feel like they know everything and you can't come and tell them anything. Like they can't learn anything new, right? And I'm just like, well, maybe you could open your mind up a little bit more and learn from other people that have other experiences than you. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of my pain points in this industry. The manic energy for what though? We're not saving lives here, people. We're literally saving PDFs and AI files. Can we stop?
Tell them again, I'll pull it.
We're not doing any of that. Like all that manic energy is like, what, I need it yesterday. Okay. Breathe. Relax. We are good, right? And I think that manic energy is something that I'm like, oh, why? What's the point? And then the egos, lots of egos. We don't need these egos. Keep the ego at the door.
Yeah, because it is a beautiful industry to work in. Do you know
Gorgeous.
what I mean? Like it is.
Love it. I'm sucked in, fully invested. This is me forever in this industry now.
For sure. And it's very, and I think everything we've just conversed about today just helps make it even better, right? Do you know what I mean? And
100%. 100%. It's a beautiful industry. I really make the effort to let young creatives know about it. What does it mean? Most young people I speak to, oh, I want to go into advertising. I'm thinking, no. They're not the real brains behind it. It's brand design team. Advertising. But it's true though, because advertising has done such a good job. Do you know what they've done really well? I've worked it out. They've done great marketing as an industry. They've marketed themselves really, really well. So now most brands and people think you need them over the brand design. But let's be honest, if we didn't do all of that design work, what would the advertising people have to do the advertising with? Where does the brand loyalty come from? That doesn't come through the advertising. It comes through the actual brand design, like all the strategy that goes behind, focusing on the brand itself. And then you have the advertisers that go out there and, do all the fancy ads that people go, yeah, amazing. Okay, next one, next ad, let's go. You know what I mean? What is the best ad that you've seen lately that you can actually remember?
British Airways.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Monzo, the Money Monzo. Actually, that's probably about a year old. They're all probably what Uncommon have done.
Yeah, they are. It's weird. Took the words out of my mouth.
Uncommon have killed it.
I think the thing.
Uncommon's killing it lately. I have to say,
it's so good. It's so good.
Someone asked me if you could choose any other agency, what would it be? I said Uncommon, actually.
Yeah, Uncommon are great. They're smashing it. Definitely. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Definitely. I do like when advertising agencies do actually take a toolkit that's been created by a brand designer and do something with it that's really on brand. But I do like it when they also break the fucking rules a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I do think, I do like it when it's a bit of a fresh perspective on things, but there's nothing better than a bit of coherence. But the thing is, isn't it, like designing the thing that lasts forever, ideally. It's like, I always remember it from Bruce Duckworth and like doing the Amazon logo, do you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Like that Amazon logo, even though it's just been like cleaned up a little bit and updated a little bit, it's not like it's been redone as such, you know what I mean? The world around it gets redone and you can change the colours and things. The campaigns that come from Amazon ads and stuff change every other week, innit? Do you know what I mean? But the thing that always stays is that unmistakable logo, do you know what I mean? And I'm definitely in the market for creating something that outlives me.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
When we was at uni, Boma, we had our graphic design room here, and then the advertising room was next door. And our really good friend Danny was in there, and we'd meet up at like lunchtime or whatever, and we'd be like chatting about work, and we'd be like. Danny be going, oh, what have you guys been up to? I'll be showing him all this stuff, like all this design on screens, all these ideas, which have then turned to designs. He'd be like, Danny, what have you done? He'd like show us like a piece of paper with like a few things written on it. I mean, they were all killer ideas.
Killers though,
but,
you know what I mean? But
killer ideas.
You know what I mean? Simple.
Really killer ideas, simple. But then it's like, oh, but I've got no one to design it now. We have to do both.
We always had a first-hand experience. Yeah, you're right. No one to design it, and you're right. And then we always had a first-hand experience with that, Michael. We've always been very close to advertising in that respect, being very good mates with Danny, and Danny's done some amazing work. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. But yeah, definitely in the market for the thing that stays. But still, I think there's loads of,
So my mission, being in this industry, is making sure people know that it is shiny, like the advertising industry, and that it's fun, and that it's beautiful, and that it's gorgeous. I just don't think. We've done a great job at marketing ourselves. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to market the hell out of this industry being more glamorous than people think it is. Basically.
Yeah, amazing. Sick. And I love everything you're doing. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, thank you so much for having this chat with us today. You know what I mean? Because it is like, we're two white males. Do you know what I mean? And like, we don't want to feel like we're getting someone on as a token or anything like that. We just get people we literally just get people on who we like. Do you know what I mean? Who are inspiring, who are inspiring others, who are doing sick shit, and we just want to eat it up. Do you know what I mean? Selfishly.
I love that.
And like, that's like you said before, that's how we learn. Like, there is a certain things that me and Michael sat with, and it's not that it's like even like uncomfortable in a way where we don't want to say something wrong or make a mistake or anything like that. I'm up for being, up for being a finger. It's just that you want to, I guess you're just hella conscious of the conversations that happen in the world and what you subconsciously take in.
Yeah,
and I think when you start to have a conversation like this, you just want to make sure you do it in the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, well, is there a right way? No, mate.
I know. That's how I was going to finish. I don't even know if there's a fucking right way to do it. Just have the conversation, innit?
Let's have the conversation. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. just have the conversation. I think putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and just being genuine and showing genuine interest, I think already does so much more than trying to shy away from it or waiting for that right moment, because there's never going to be a right moment. And I'm sure, like you, there are many out there that are thinking the same. I'm just going to wait for the right moment. And maybe I don't want to say it like that or do it like this. There is no right or wrong way. I still make mistakes sometimes in saying certain things, but I just want people to correct me. I'm happy to learn. I'm not, I've got zero ego here. Do you know what I mean? I'm humble as fuck. Like, just tell me I've got it wrong and I will learn and I will apologize and say, I'm sorry, I'll get it right next time. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what people just, people are so, I think a lot of people hold on to this sense of like getting things right, that level of perfection. It doesn't exist. Just let it go. Just be chill. Life's too short to be hanging on to an idea that you don't even really know about. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't assume. I try not to assume. I don't take anything personal either. I'm too confident for that shit. I don't take anything personal.
I love it. I love it.
Do you know what I mean?
So we've kept you for an hour when you're in Turkey at your fucking all-inclusive holiday. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. It's time for a drinky drink.
I can imagine, do you know what I'm saying? Right, so we spoke about diversity in the industry, the tough kind of stuff where it's around barriers and blind spots, so to say, how we can champion change and make it better. And we want to finish with, your culture, your creativity, and also your legacy, Boma. So currently, you're at First. In a really quick take, how's First? How are you finding it?
First. You know why I love them so much? First of all, they're based in Glasgow, and I think as a duchy, I get on with the Scots. They're brilliant, right? Nice. So that's one. Two, First do drinks branding. Now, thank fuck I love a drink. You know what I mean? A match made in heaven, right? So that's two. And three, just all around lovely people. Honestly, nice. So good. They do some brilliant work, really exciting work, all kinds of drinks. If it's a liquid, they touch it. Do you know what I mean? That's nice. Their vibe. And they all have so much passion. The owners have passion. Everyone's just as passionate as the other. Small agency, but I love a small agency feel. I think you get a lot of a lot of time with each other, right? And you're all on this journey of like growth and like making it work and doing the best you can and stuff. So yeah, Thirst is brilliant. Love it. Love their logo as well. It's amazing. I've already said to them, can we do some merch soon? Because I'm down over this merch. So
they do.
Thirst is great. Shout out to my bosses, Chris and Matt and everyone else.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind in this space?
Oh, these questions, guys. Damn it.
Especially we're finishing with big ones, to be honest.
You're coming with some really deep questions. What is legacy? Oh man, do you know what? I think my legacy is shout louder than you think you're shouting. Honestly, that's the legacy I want to leave behind. Shout louder. If you think you're shouting loud, you're not shouting loud enough. Shout louder.
Yeah, nice. Love it.
That's great, Boma.
Yeah.
And the last one to wrap it up. What do you want the next generation of creatives to inherit that you didn't? Well, this is quite tough because if they can keep inheriting more, then they might become more lazy.
So more the wrong thing and the wrong things maybe, and the fucking overnight fucking viral
the
success.
TikToks.
The TikTok also.
Oh my god, what can they inherit that I didn't? Oh man. Do you know?
It's a lot in it. Big one, that.
That's a big one, that one is.
On your holiday, on your hollybobs as well. Do you know what I mean?
Guys, what?
Wild.
Wait, let me ask ChatGPT quickly. No joking.
Listen, we don't write the questions. You know what I mean? Don't shoot the messenger, Boma.
Well, we do write the questions. I do.
We do actually.
Yeah. What I would like them to inherit is, you know what? I do have it, and I just feel like they should have it. Is resilience, because I feel like what's happening now in this sort of generation and what I'm experiencing is this lack of resilience and this giving up easily, right? That's something I've always had. So it's not like I haven't inherited, I do have that, but I would love for the next generation to have that. I want them to build up resilience and just not give up. Just keep going. Yeah.
I think I think our question was bad, Boma. I think it should have been the other way around. I think from the conversation that we had, you know, throughout this past hour, like we said, that there is like a laziness which is happening, and I think that the hustle bunny, like people need to inject more hustle bunny.
I think so. I mean,
yeah, amazing.
There is this thing where people are saying, "Oh, hustle culture, it's bad, it's this and that," and I can see why they're saying that, because you've got people out there saying, "Oh, you need to get up at 3 a.m. You need to go and dip your face into like an ice cold water bath, and then you need to go and do a 5K run, and then you need to write something in your journal." Guys, this is not the kind of hustle I'm talking about, because your girl over here, if I could, I'd be waking up at midday having champagne for breakfast. You know what I mean? This is not the hustle I'm on about. The hustle I mean is like not giving up, working hard for something you want. You want your comfortable life. You just want to do that one thing that you love. You want, that's fine. That's okay. Do you know what I mean? But just do it with style, with grace, with happiness, and do it. If you want, okay, let's say, I just want to be a bin man. Be the best fucking bin man you can be. Do you know what I mean? Just be the best fucking bin man. Don't be a bin man and moan about it and be like, "Oh, gotta take the bins out again today." Well, you chose that job. Be the best fucking bin man. Embrace it. And don't give up. Go get what you want to get, right? That's why I refer to myself as a hustle bunny, because I just hustle, but I do everything I hustle for. I do it with happiness, and I do it because I want to do it, right? And I do it looking good.
Listen, look, hey, listen, Boma, look good, they pay good. And do you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
And I think on that as well, like, I've always had this fight in my life with consistency, and the older I get, I'm realizing it's not necessarily about consistency. The consistency's there, but it's about the persistence, and the persistence to just keep fucking going. Do you know what I mean? It's not, Duolingo, and my aim is always perfection. 365 days without missing a day, and it's like you miss that day and I stop doing it. It's like, no, it's not about that. Do you know what I mean? It's just about doing it and doing it and doing it
and doing it well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The area I like discipline is exercise. I fucking hate it. Right? It's the one thing that I'm really bad at, and I don't I admit it. I'm rubbish. I'm rubbish at exercise. I'm good at drinking. I'm bad at exercise, right? And I know this about myself. So and I think most people just need to be honest with themselves about the things that they're good at and not so good at. That way you pursue the right thing, and you will pursue it with energy because you like that thing. Don't pursue something that you actually don't like, but you think you need to pursue it because that's you think society makes you think that's the right thing to do. And it's like, no, don't do that. Because then you're wasting your time and your energy on something that ideally in the end you're not going to like anyway. So what's the point? Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of hustle I'm referring to. Hustle for what's right for you, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love it, Boma. Sick. That was awesome. You're awesome.
You guys are awesome. Everyone's awesome.
Yay!
We're doing it. Right, well, listen, we're not going to take any more of your time. I can't thank you enough for doing this on your holiday. Next time we do this, tell me you're on holiday and we'll reschedule.